The Super Dragon Spotlight event brings a new epic piece of equipment for your Grand Warden. The Fireball is devastating, and I will break it down in the strategy section, but to unlock this, you will have to progress through the event track. The Super Ice Bath is the event building where you can claim some ice cubes each day, and it's also where you access the event. You do get a nice welcome screen giving you a little bit of information. This time around, you will collect ice cubes from stars in multiplayer battles, not by taking down certain buildings as with other events. Claim rewards including the Super Dragon, medals, and ore. Use collected medals and earn more rewards at the trader. Super Dragon is trainable in less time and reaches your Town Hall's highest level. Whilst it is not a new limited edition troop, it is a big deal. Firstly, it is unlocked straight away in the event pass, and for Town Hall 8, 9, and 10 players, they now have access to a Super Troop. They still won't be able to see the Super Troop sauna, they'll just be able to train up the Super Dragon, and normally Super Troops mimic the regular troop level in the laboratory. But here, the Super Dragon is boosted to that Town Hall's highest level throughout the event. So even Town Hall 11 and above players who normally can get access to Super Troops, they might be able to access a higher level Super Dragon. The other main benefit, for the first time ever, we can train 3 Super Troops in a single army, because the Super Dragon is automatically boosted. The event will run from March 11th through March 21st, so you don't have to boost the Super Dragon during that time, and if you are watching this the day prior to the event starting, do not boost the Super Dragon in this period, because you won't get a refund on your Dark Elixir, obviously, and tomorrow, when the event goes live, you will be able to unlock the Super Dragon for the entirety of that event. Going over the event track first, it operates the same as previous events. All of the rewards on the bottom of the track you unlock for free, and the rewards on the top you unlock via the paid event pass. If you are purchasing that, remember you can support a creator beforehand by entering their code. My code is Judo, and it is very much appreciated. By purchasing the pass, you do get 800 ice cubes to get you started, which is enough to get to the 30% training boost. But from here, you will attack in multiplayer to progress up to the end of the track, which is 10,000 points. You can gem your way up the track should you wish. Once you get to the end, you will have unlocked 3,150 Super Troop medals, 3,500 shiny ore, and 250 glowy ore. By purchasing the pass, you will gain an extra 5,000 Super Troop medals to spend in the trader shop, an extra 600 glowy ore, and 80 starry ore, which you will need to upgrade your epic equipment. From the free-to-play perspective, you also get the Goblin Explorer decoration, and if you purchase the pass, you get the Stone Globe as a bit of a bonus. Again, there is also a bonus track where you can gain an extra 1,170 Super Troop medals, meaning from a free-to-play perspective, you can get up to 4,320 of the medals. For the previous events, we have been given links that we can share with you for even more of these, and if that is the case this time around, I will be sure to share them on my Twitter and Instagram account. The ice cubes to get you to the end of the Super Dragon Spotlight event track should actually be easier to gain this time, because it's all based on stars. As long as you are doing a multiplayer battle, you earn ice cubes for every star that you gain. Now, whenever you start an attack, you will see the amount of ice cubes you're going to gain above the overall destruction. Every time you gain a star, that increases, but you do get a nice summary screen at the end of the attack. You do gain the exact same amount of ice cubes per star for any league other than Legend League. It appears that you gain an extra 15% because your number of attacks are limited to only 8 per day. However, if you use the Super Dragon, you get a bonus of 50% extra ice cubes for that attack. I've tested this with multiple Super Dragons, and it's always the same. Discounting the Legend League bonus, you can get 450 ice cubes for a 3-star attack, with 225 bonus ice cubes for using a Super Dragon, so 675 total. This means that you can actually get to the end of the event track in less than 15 attacks. That means you should have have plenty of time across the 10 days the event is active. You can always drop down in the leagues if you need to speed this process up, and perhaps similar to other events, the amount of ice cubes will increase as the event goes on, but there's no clarification as to whether that is or isn't the case this time around. In terms of the trader shop, my advice doesn't really change too much as to whether you have or have not bought the pass. This time around, there is not a hero skin within the shop. However, my recommendation, whether you buy the pass or not, is always to get the epic piece of equipment anyway, which in this case is the fireball. It really is epic. So for 3,100 medals, that is what I would recommend every player unlocks. Following this, if you have purchased the pass or some of the dragon medals, which will more than likely be in the shop, if you are a collector, you might want to get your Clashy Creator decoration since they are limited edition. Personally, I like to try and get all of the limited edition stuff, so I will be getting that. Following that, I would recommend the ore. We are all trying to upgrade our equipment at the moment, especially with the fireball being brand new as well. The glowy ore is what I would go for first, because although it is not the rarest, it is, as I've mentioned before, the most scarce. So this is probably where you will hit a bottleneck in terms of upgrades. I would probably go ahead and purchase all of that, followed by the starry ore or shiny ore, depending on what it is that you require for your upgrades. Aside from that, my advice has not changed as previous events. I would not go for any of the runes because you can farm loot anyway, and with the training boost, you're going to be able to farm more during this event, so the books might be a good option, but more than likely, the potions are probably better. The builder potion and research potion, so that you can have your builders and laboratory researching even faster. Moving to the fireball. It really is epic in how it looks. It's very fun to use, but you will have to use it very strategically because it is a damage style gear, and typically we use the Grand Warden as a support hero. When we take a look at these stats, this is for maximum level initially, but it provides a huge DPS increase to your Grand Warden throughout the entire attack. Remember, that is how hero boosts work, but the active ability is when he throws the fireball. Now, the hero boost is the highest amount of DPS you can gain on the Grand Warden with gear. The second to this is the Rage Gem, which provides 88 DPS to the Grand Warden at maximum level. But essentially, the active ability, when you press the Grand Warden's ability, is when he throws the fireball. Now, there are key upgrades in the levels because initially, the actual splash damage only reaches 4 tiles in radius from where it hits. This increases to 5 tiles at level 9, and then the maximum of 6 tiles once you get to level 18. Any of the levels in between provide extra projectile damage or DPS increases to your Grand Warden. So those are the 2 key levels. It is important you know that when you press the ability, it is defense targeting. So exactly as it says in its description, it will target the closest defense. The Warden being a ranged unit, it can be a little bit tricky to judge, so that is something you will have to get used to, but it might be that you take out some defenses on the perimeter so that you can fire the fireball into the more dangerous defenses. Keeping it in isolation for the moment, it can one-shot a bunch of defenses, and in combination with the maxed earthquake spell, there is not many defenses that can survive. It is almost strong enough to take down the Town Hall by itself. It can one-shot the defending Archer Queen or Royal Champion at maximum level. As I alluded to earlier, if you are using the Warden as a support hero, such as with a Queen Charge Root Rider attack, you're not going to want to use the Fireball, because it's really unpredictable as to when you would use the Warden ability, or the Eternal Tome, or the Healing Tome, and let's be honest, as a support hero, they are just better options in synergy with that strategy. But where you can use this is when you are using the Grand Warden to perform a Warden walk. Prior to this, you could equip the Rage Gem on the Grand Warden in order to increase his attack speed and DPS, but now you can apply the Fireball in order to not only increase the DPS that the Warden does per strike, but once he's taken out those defenses on the perimeter, hit some major defenses in combination with an Earthquake spell. You can then, once the Warden has set the funnel, taken out those key defenses, deploy the rest of your troops to pull the Warden across. He's got the Rage Gem active in order to help them. Just know that you don't have the Eternal Tome if you opt for the Fireball, but setting up that pathing and taking out key defenses initially might be better depending on the layout. The other option you have is combining the Fireball with the Eternal Tome, which might actually end up being used more because a lot of people use the Super Archer Blimp attack, and often you use the Grand Warden ability early to protect the Blimp moving into the base. Now, rather than using the Rage Gem with this combination, you might opt for the Fireball in order to take out some defenses ahead of your Warden, and it also helps with your Super Archers then firing forward into the base rather than having to shoot in all different directions. It does mean that you don't have the Rage Gem active on the Warden, so if you plan to move him across to your Root Riders or Super Barbarians, whatever you're finishing this attack with, but it might be worth it based on which defenses he can take out initially to help support the Battle Blimp. It's definitely a piece of equipment that is more base specific. I'm looking forward to seeing if the pros combine this with overgrowth spells to target major defenses in the core. I think it will be very fun to watch, but let me know how you plan on using the epic Fireball equipment.